do you mean get yelled at?
It's up here.
Why? All right. You guys get in the back, cameras? See, now I want to give you guys thumbs up. You guys don't want to give me thumbs up. It's rude. Welcome to mini camp, guys. This thing will be short and sweet. Really get a chance to get in and get a chance to see the guys. Obviously, in the team meeting setting, we got a chance to go. Come on, JJ, you can come on in, man. You're not late. You've been here. I don't yell at people that's not late. You got a chance to see the guys and get them, obviously their mandatory physicals for the year. It's been great to be around the guys in the meeting setting, and we'll get a chance to go out today and have a simulated practice to get these guys to the offseason tomorrow, end this thing up with a family day and get a chance to get the families on the field and be able to go through our process. But appreciate you guys for coming out. Where's D-Led? No D-Led. You got to take over the D-Led spot.
Somewhere in the Caribbean Sea, I got a picture.
You got to take over the D-Led spot. I'm used to looking over there.
Sorry, I'm not as attractive as you.
So, Coach, now that rookie camp is over, OTAs are over, now we've started the mini camp process, what are your expectations?
The whole off-season program, in my opinion, is to just lay the foundations for your team. And now it's to go on break and to come back ready to forge the team. So I let those guys know today in our team meeting that we're going to go get away, but they got to prepare themselves to be ready to come back to forge our football team with the physicality that it requires, the full speed effort that it requires, the hustle that's going to require to go into this season ready to do what we expect to do. And our expectations will be set by us. And I really think that's what we're doing right now, and that's what we're in the process of doing.
Do you have 100% attendance? Is everybody here?
I don't have any problems. I have to ask David Bassity. I've seen everybody. I have 100% attendance right now. If I am lying, I promise you I'll double back to you.
Good.
Like I always do. I didn't take attendance if you're asking. I was standing at the front today with a checkbook. But we had everybody.
Is Grady back today working out with the guys? I know that
Grady is still in the same status that he's been. Obviously, he's been working out on the side, doing some different things with our guys, getting some really good work with our PT, getting some good work with our training system, getting some good work with our off-the-field guys. Obviously, I haven't thrown him into anything, of any speed whatsoever when it comes to teamwork or drill work. So he'll be doing the things that he's been doing thus far.
You talk so much about the intensity of these camps and what you can and can't do. Obviously, there are rules and regulations against it, but is this more about getting them into a formation of understanding the practice setting and what the expectations are there, or do you want to see a level of intensity on the field actually get amped up a notch?
The easiest way to probably put it for you would be, for me, I treat it as a mental game from the neck up in the off season, right? You take a little bit of the physical toll off and you increase the mental and check the guy's capacity and how much they can retain, right? You got so much football in right now, you'll probably never go into a game with as much football as we have right now. It breaks down the smaller details and some of those type of things that you do for the specific teams, but we really try to apply a lot of pressure from the mental standpoint to make them go execute, to be able to take it from the classroom to the jog through to a practice, and to be able to simulate that without the full speed, physical nature of what it requires to play football. We take that part out.
Coach, in terms of speed and coming into training camp at full speed, Kirk's talked about having to do some speed reading in terms of getting to know the personnel that he's working with.
Yes.
What have you seen in terms of the quarterback position and Kirk in terms of the cohesiveness of that group and how they're coming?
What did he describe as speed reading, so I can make sure I answer this the correct way?
Yeah, just in terms of knowing who they are and how they operate, where they might want the ball.
Checking out his guys.
Yeah.
All right, so Kirk's done a really good job when he first got here. He was able to go back and watch all Drake's catches, all Cal's catches, all Bijan's movement, all his catches, all the things that they did from a football standpoint. And he wanted to be able to go out and be able to mimic some of the things that they did really well. And if there's anything that he probably can have some corrections on, or even conversation that can be stimulated from that, I thought he thought was valuable. And right now, going through this off season, you've been able to see a real nice connection. Even the days that you guys have been out, I think you got a chance to see the connection that Curtis got with some of the guys that he's going to play with, whether it be Mooney, whether it be Drake, whether it be Cal, whether it be Bijan, or whatever the case may be, or even some of our down-the-line guys. I think he's got a real good feel of what his guys are able to do and what he can do with those guys. So, like, his speed reading is probably a part of his process that we talked about, how he writes it all down. He's able to paint the picture. So when he spits the play out, he can say it again. And those things are forming around him, and the timing of the play is happening. It's getting tied together with his footwork and all those type of things. And he's done a great job of doing all those things even at the basis and the structure that we're at right now from an off-season standpoint.
We saw last year in his rookie season, Bijan line up all over the field, line up wide, and he has said that he expects to be more of a running back who does other things this year, and I think Zach has concurred with that. How, when you have a guy who can be that dynamic and do that many things, how difficult a decision is it to maybe more fine-tune his role this year?
You know, in the simplest form as you can possibly make it is get the ball to Bijan as much as you can in as many ideal situations that you possibly can. For him, he's so talented, you don't want to limit the things that he can do, but you also don't want to water it down so much that he's not doing anything that he can do great, right? When you get the ball in his hand, he makes people miss. He gets extra yards. He's able to fight for extra yards. He breaks tackles. He's fast. He's explosive. He's strong. He can do so many things. You can get overwhelmed sometime, maybe as a play caller or even as a designer. But for him, I really think he enjoys the whole process. I think he compared himself to that Christian McCaffrey role. And if we can get anywhere near the great player that Christian McCaffrey is, I think we'll all be pretty excited.
Did that make you nervous at all to hear him say that?
No, I'm never going to take away a guy's confidence. You know, like it's something about that youthful arrogance, man, that just excites me. So, like, I absolutely love that. Rondé Barber, man, always said it was a mentality before it was ever reality. And we've stolen that for years, whether it be Mike Tomlin, myself, Rondé Barber, whatever the case may be, man. You got to have that certain mentality. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Anyone on the line in the absence of Grady, have you seen step up so far, OTAs?
Offensive line?
Defensive line.
Okay. I would say, man, you just messed me up right there. It's hard to say step up. You know, this is a tough time for that interior part of the thing. But, like, what I am really pleased with is that opening five, that starting five, so to speak, to go out there that you guys kind of have been accustomed to knowing. And, like, for me to get a chance to meet Bergeron and that personality has been really something that's really exciting. Like, I know exactly who Christian Lindstrom is when he puts on the pads. I know exactly who Caleb McGarry is when he puts on the pads. And then to be around a guy like Bergeron, to see that authentic, youthful arrogance that we kind of talked about from a confidence standpoint, it's really fun. Jake Matthews has been doing it for such a long time, and the consistent youthful behavior that he's able to exuberate every day in a practice setting, it just amazes me at a very high level. And Drew Dalman's just a psychopath, and you love that about him, right? He's got two options in life, you know, either be a good center or, man, I'm going to be worried about him.
Is there a hope you'll leave the camp with a sense of, you know, if one offense is ahead of the defense or vice versa, or is there a sense like, you know, you're going to be able to have a starting point for the next time you guys get back together at training camp to know where you want to be, to sort of prioritize what needs to go get worked on first?
I really think is the second part of the question is as opposed to leaving with it is what do you want to prioritize when you get back, right? And like I said, you want to prioritize the physicality of football. You want to prioritize what it looks like to get off the ball, what it looks like for speed off the ball, what it looks like on defense to play fast, free, and physical. Like, I think those are the things that we would be able to see. And you'll be able to see those things without full-blown tackling to the ground situations because we'll be able to simulate more. We'll be able to go faster. You can move a little more free. And, like, those are the things I always look forward to when it comes to training. Training camp is, like, the best time ever for coaches. I said this a long time when I was a young coach, but, I mean, when else do you get a chance to go and do football, shower 3 times a day, and feel good about life and go to work, right? It's awesome. And it's, like, so much fun for all of us to go out and be a part of that, you know, training camp, it's great, man. It's like the ultimate selfish moments, right? When guys get a chance to go out there and be the best version of themselves for themselves in honor while you're forging this team to get out there and perform the best they can perform.
You've had the rookies now for almost 2 months. What have you seen from them so far? Did anyone standing out?
You know, it'd be hard to say that anyone wasn't standing out. You know, like when you get around this group and you get a chance to get those guys out there and you see them execute, we've been able to do some two-field things to get them on a different field to watch guys do things that we love. Whether it's been a person that we just picked up, when you're talking about OJ, you're talking about our first-round pick in Penix, we've seen good things from all of them. We've seen things that we need to improve. We've seen corrections across the board. It's been a lot of fun with all those guys and those guys going out there showing us who they are and what they've been and taking it almost to another level when they get a chance to get their opportunities, whether it be on the ones field or the twos field. It's been fun to watch.
Speaking of the rookies, we were talking to Rook at rookie mini camp, and he was talking about how, you know, there's things I just need to learn more about football in general because he hasn't played, you know, the game for all that long. And I don't know if he can really describe what he doesn't know, but how would you describe what he can learn?
Rook's probably talking about the natural transition of when you get to the National Football League, how the game becomes above the game. And it's knowing situations, how you play, when you play that way, what calls make you be free, what calls make you reckless, what calls make you play with a certain discipline that it takes and requires to win the football game. I think Rook's talking about little details of those things. It's like the mannerisms of the coordinator, the play calling itself, the intent, being able to look down the line and be able to go tip to tip from the formation to figure out what you need to do in order to get off, who's telling on themselves that what's going to happen. Is JJ sitting over there in a kick stance that's letting me know this play is pass, is letting me know this is run based on the fact that his knuckles are white. All those little details of things that you learn from really great players that you've been able to take over the years and apply it to coaching, and now you're able to use those things in meeting room settings, and you're able to bring those things from a situational football standpoint and add it into your play. And I think that from a rookie, that's just great self-awareness, and those are the type of things I talked about when I talk about the improvement of those guys.
Since Grady's not out there, how does David fit that role of being able to teach Rook those lessons?
You know, David is an unbelievable example leader, right? And we talk about our culture and what is culture, right? And I told you what they are when you're not looking. And what I've seen when I'm not looking at David Amiata, when I go back and look at tape, is I've seen a guy lead by example. And I've seen him absolutely go out there and be able to show guys how to throw hands by throwing hands. I've seen him actually be able to go through a drill work or whatever the thing is, and being the most important thing to him, all hands on deck, you're definitely getting fined. And to be able to go through all those things. I'm trying to turn, I don't care how fast you turned it off, you're going down. And all those type of things that's related with it, which has been fun for me to learn David as well, because he's a lead by example guy. He sets the tone every single time he goes out there on the grass. Every opportunity he gets, it is a real live rep with a guy like that.
I've been curious since you got here and put together your offensive staff mainly about how the quarterback's room is constructed with the coaches that you've compiled.
Yes.
With the fact that there are so many different points of knowledge, I guess, with Zach and TJ and Ken and DJ, like there are a bunch of guys in that room to go along with Kirk, who's been in the league for so long, and also Taylor Heineke, who's been around a long time. How do you kind of manage that many different opinions and thoughts and philosophies to get the quarterback room where you want it to be and everybody speaking the same language?
No question, Tori. You know, first of all, you don't let them all in there. You know, because you got KJ Black, you got Chandler Whitmer, and don't tell those guys, but quarterbacks, they're the smartest guys in football, right? They are. They have to be. And I want to surround myself around as many quarterback people that I can. And the people that are distributing the information to Kurt and all of our quarterbacks, so to speak, are going to be Zach. They're going to be TJ. There's going to be DJ as an assistant, right? Ken Zampese able to distribute the information to Zach to overload him. He's able to give it to TJ to overload him. The same with Chandler, the same with KJ Black. We can overload each other on the back end, simplify it, so when we get to that room, we're speaking on the same accord. You know, it's like the healthy discussions, it's the healthy conflict, it's the healthy ideas versus innovation versus we're getting too far away from our fundamental core beliefs. I think you need all those things in order to formulate great rooms. In particular, that room, we got the savvy vets that's seen a lot of football, and both Taylor and Cousins, and then we got our young guys in Paddock and Penix that are really learning from the vets, the coaches, different ages. You got Zampese, who's my dad, and then you got DJ, who's my son. And I stole him from Doug Williams. I told him that. I called him and said, hey, man, I stole him as my son. He said, you can't take my boy. But I stole him as my son. And we got different walks of life in that room or around that room, which makes it a lot of fun.
You said about a month ago that the onus was kind of on Michael Penix to be the one trying to learn from Kirk rather than the opposite. What have you seen so far in that respect?
I think he's done an amazing job of being able to do that. His humility shows every time he speaks with you guys, every time he walks in the building, in the meeting room. And has also shown his ability to pay attention and concentrate and to watch and to follow and to lead. And he couldn't have said it better than he said in his first press conference with you guys, is that everybody in that room is wired to go out and win a championship, and that's their goal.
7 hours ago, Coach, Sports Illustrated said that you're an odds-on favorite to win Coach of the Year. And how do you manage expectations within the staff, within the team, as you're about to say goodbye for the next couple of weeks?
The first thing is don't read that. You know, you got to go out there and execute your job. You can't get caught up riding the emotional roller coaster. You know, you guys are writing nice things about me right now, and that's awesome. I can go home and feel really good about myself. But there's going to be a time when you got to write bad things, and it's going to be something that's not done absolutely the way you want to get it done. And it's about the mental stamina and the physical and mental toughness that comes along with the job that allows us to not even really pay attention to those things and get our job done. And I think that's the most important thing for all of us to do.
Speaking of bad things, you mentioned a lot about the mental game and above the neck. Is there a certain point from here into training camp where are physical mistakes more forgivable than mental mistakes? Is that the way you're grading
That's
it?
a good question. You always got a stumper or two. Man, that's a great one, right? And you want physical mistakes, right? Because you want guys to play fast. And that's going to happen if you're playing fast enough. The mental mistakes, if they keep repeating themselves, then you got to look at yourself as a coach, an installer, a fundamental core belief, or something, and see if there's something going on wrong there. So you don't ever want to dial in and point directly at one person. You know, if it's one person not able to get it, that the other 4 or 5 are able to get it, then maybe you can dial it in there. But it's like you want to be more acceptable to the physical mistakes. The mental mistakes you want to eliminate or mitigate as much as possible. If you can eliminate those things, you got a really good chance of winning or having a successful play, so to speak.
And Coach, you've been coaching at so many levels, and it's interesting you said that because soon the Falcons are going to have to start making some tough decisions on which players to keep and which players to let go. That's just part of the game. We know that. But is it still a tough process for you, or does it get easier over time? No,
when it gets easy to make those decisions on who you keep and who you let go, I am out of here, guys. I'm leaving. I'm walking away when that decision gets easy, because that's always tough. You know, it's a people first mentality. It's a people first business. We're a people first organization, and I'll always be that way. Just a couple minutes ago, I just was upstairs talking to Taryn about life and where we're going on vacation and what we're going to do next. And when I can't have those conversations, or I become stone cold to the mentality and the reality of that this is earned every day, I'll probably walk away from it at that point.
You talk so much about the mental right now, the preparation, what it's so heavy learning. Do you give the guys, when they go away now, some homework? Is it something where you gotta, what are you seeing from them when they leave?
Once you become a professional, it becomes like constant homework. So whether I want to think about it or not, it's going to come up. It's the whole thought process and how you handle situations, how you handle people. And the guys are no different, right? When they leave, they're going to consistently be thinking about what's next for those guys. Not at the level that they're doing it now. They got to get the physical training, the physical part right in order to be ready to do that. But I guarantee you these guys will want to get out and be able to walk through or simulate some of the stuff that we've done over the past week so it doesn't get lost in translation. And the guys that do that more are the guys that become obsessed with it. And the guys that are obsessed with it are the guys that we want to bring a part of our community, so to speak. And those are usually the guys that rise above all and become different players.
When minicamp is over, will you and the coaches actually take a break, or you'll work right through?
We're going to grind all the way through, man. We're out of here. Going to get the coaches away, get them a chance to go be with their families, give those guys a chance to get away. And then usually when that happens, you get away and you can't wait to get back. You know, you start itching. You know, you can't start on all the sports networks because that's all they talk about at this time, waiting for football to come back. And I know how exciting that is, but you have to get away, step away a little bit. We can't step away completely either. It's just the nature of the beast. But get a chance to spend time with family, friends, to be able to move accordingly, maybe travel a little bit, right? And then when you come back, man, you're just renewed and you're re-energized. And it's time for us to go win a championship.
Zach had talked about kind of preparing for that first-time play caller role and how he's simulating that now a little bit. What have you seen from him as he's?
Which one was that, Zach, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think he's been preparing for that play calling role since I've met him. You know, we've been able to simulate some of that stuff in training camp with the Rams that I got a chance to watch him do and watch him do live. We've been able to do it a bunch out here, calling live periods and doing some of those things, even in the offseason, whether it be jog through or whether it be actual practice. But I think those things happen for you naturally. Like when it's your first time going to call it full season live, you are way more probably locked and dialed in than most. It just is what it is, right? That's just the nature of the beast, the urgency you create for yourself. And I think he's created a nice urgency for himself to prepare him for this offseason that's going to help him when we get back. And moving forward, that he'll continue to develop those skills. Nobody's expecting to be perfect, but we expect to be our very best.
Anything else?
I'm out of here. I'm not taking any more questions.
Thank you.